SAASTA is a subject that's for Aboriginal students. It helps us with our Year 12 SAASE points.
It's about helping Aboriginal students through school. So yeah, that was a big benefit coming over here to get support to get me through school. And also, I guess it's showing you what's out there, like pathways, like what you can do after school for a job. Yeah.
SAASTA's been really good, and I just liked it because the uniform, yeah.
Your uniform's pretty cool.
Yeah, besides these pants.
I guess having an environment where you're with Aboriginal students, you're around Aboriginal students, and it's also good to have an Aboriginal teacher teaching you stuff like Amy.
Each student is on their own learning journey. The continuum is different for each student, so what we want to do is to help each student develop their own understanding around their culture and develop their own identity so they leave school feeling strong and confident within themselves to move on to better pathways and careers to be successful leaders in our community.
When they're up there smiling at the end of Year 12, because they've completed their SAASE, they've finished Year 12, I'm smiling as well because I've pretty much guided them there. So that's the biggest kick out of it. Watch him complete Year 12, just find future employment and really transform into these vibrant, young, positive role models.
So it's pretty powerful to know that you're working on a program that's making a difference. We've got students that go on to further education, university, TAFE. The students who go on to meaningful employment.
SAASTA has taught me about cultural awareness and identity.
I reckon it's good, just to go in it and have that support to get through, because you never know what if they might not be able to get through if they don't have that support of SAASTA.
The background history of SAASTA was it started in about 2006 out at one of the northern schools. The basic aim of the program was to engage Aboriginal students, male and female, that had a real interest and passion for sport, to get them engaged in their schooling and hopefully obviously attain their high school or SAASE certificate and go on to either further study or employment.
So the students involved in SAASTA get the opportunity to learn more about their culture, build on their Aboriginal identity.
Initially it was conceived, I think, as a program to encourage attendance and engagement, and so some of those key performance indicators that are built into the program had a big emphasis on minimum levels of attendance and other measures that indicated engagement.
It provides a platform for them to participate in sporting events with other Aboriginal students from around South Australia.
And of course it's worked. And it's worked. I think it's exceeded everybody's expectations.
At Ocean View, we are a specialist SAASTA academy. We offer SAASTA to students in years 10, 11 and 12. In year 10, students complete the Aboriginal Studies course. Our year 11s do a Cert 3 in Sport and Recreation, and our year 12 or Stage 2 students do a Stage 2 integrated learning course.
At Lefevre High School, our students represent a number of different Aboriginal nations. We have students from Northern Territory, Queensland, and Western Australia, all bringing their own cultural understandings, stories and values which help others in the class who don't have that connection to country or people.
The thing that really appealed to us about the SAASTA program was that it was actually embedded into the students' curriculum rather than an add-on or bolt-on activity that tends to take students out of their mainstream learning certainly offers them lots of opportunities, because of course that was very appealing to Aboriginal students, to have people think of giving them an opportunity when they knew, you know, from the previous generations, the way Aboriginal children have been treated in schools was so discriminatory and so negative.
I'm from a small town called Kalgoorlie. My family is Wongatha, and my family is scattered all over the goldfields. Kalgoorlie is about 600 k's from Perth in the Midwest region.
On my mum's side, I'm from Point Pears and Raukin, and that's the Narungga and Ngarrindjeri tribe. And on my dad's side, I am from Sejuna, the Wirangu tribe.
I'm Admatna from Northern Flinders Ranges. I moved from Corn for further education, so university, so I'd like a lot of my students to move into that learning space as well.
I went to a pretty affluent school in the Adelaide CBD. I didn't really know much about Aboriginal culture. We didn't get taught a whole lot. And yeah, to be honest, we were pretty uneducated. I didn't know who was Aboriginal, you know, in my class, year level, school alone.
In Lawrence's class, I learned that sharing ideas is important, to be creative and learn off of others.
She's a pretty energetic kid. She's always up and about, and I've seen her transform from, you know, sort of shy, withdrawn student to vibrant, energetic, out there, not afraid to speak up.
Creative, smart.
How would your best friends describe you?
Creative, very, very smart.
I've been a SAASTA coordinator for the past 8 years at Lefevre High School. Over that period, our program has grown. I think it's really important for Aboriginal students to work with and learn from Aboriginal role models from the diverse communities that we have across South Australia.
Damo's always told us to come to school every day, get our work done as soon as we can, because if we don't come to school, then we're just bringing everyone down.
When Blake arrived to Lefevre High School, he was a shy student looking to improve his education outcomes and sporting endeavours.
I reckon it's better to move out of Kalgoorlie because there's more opportunities elsewhere.
He moved over here with one of his best friends, Jordan. Both are really close.
I think it was like term 1 or term 2,
Yeah.
year 8, and then we sort of just got enough clicked.
Yeah, and then just footy, coming over each other's houses, meeting each other's family, going out bush. I was only here a year and then he came over.
Yeah, so he's been here for almost 2 years, and I've been here for about
Nearly a year.
nearly a year.
So I was a bit settled in before he came, so he had like friends and stuff.
We've got 4 sports academies, football academies, netball academy.
And also cricket with the Saka.
And then a basketball academy.
The AFL Academy is there for like young Aboriginal men who are gifted at sports, and they help the academy helps you get certs, so you get qualifications, and you leave school and stuff.
It's wanting to help young Aboriginal men become better leaders within the community, for their community, and just for themselves, teaching them discipline and stuff throughout, using footy as an example to help them.
Yeah, and also gives you a lot of knowledge about history of Aboriginal Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're walking down the street and someone calls you a name or something, and you know how to react, you can talk to them about it instead of just mouthing off.
Instead of if they racially abuse you, you know how to handle it and stuff.
Has that ever happened to you guys?
Oh, well, on Facebook it did because in Kalgoorlie there's a
Whinge and Rhyme page.
They just whinge about stuff in Kalgoorlie, and then they just whinged about
Aboriginals.
Yeah, on the streets drinking around, and they just whinged about that, and then we just
stuck up.
Yeah, and commented, and proved our point, and then
they never replied, and they got last say.
Took his status down, so.
We went to a trip to Galma, and that was a good experience for a lot of the boys, especially the ones with hardly any cultural backgrounds. It just made them ask questions to their parents and stuff about who they are and that. It's pretty cool.
know, it's not all just book work. You can't just hand a student a book and get them to do it. You really need to connect the culture, make those connections, bring in family, the wider community, if you want to get good outcomes out of the students.
I like knowing history and stuff. Like, I find it really interesting. Yeah. And cooking, I just like cooking because we get to cook food. Like, we can eat it afterwards.
So it's really good seeing students transform in that personal sense and sort of get out of their shell and engage within the school community. The students, they know a lot more about Aboriginal culture and tradition than I do. So I also facilitate the learning environment and I give them the task and it's up to them to do what they want with it. So I learn from Shazna just as much as she learns from me.
I'm not sure if anyone's Ghana here. I can give you the opportunity to do the welcoming if you like. So basically the presentation I'm giving today is provided by dentists and therapists and professionals in the industry. For background knowledge of why Aboriginal people have worse oral health than non-Aboriginal people, it's basically started all the way before colonisation. We had really good teeth back then, but unfortunately due to factors such as sugar being introduced to our diet, a lot of flour, a lot of things have changed our health and our dental health as well. The social determinants of health means it goes back to your schooling, your education, your housing. So for instance, if you're living up in the lands, you don't have access to as much nutrition, so food, water, all those sort of things impact your health.
We've got the dental side coming here too.
We're doing an assessment of our personal endeavour. Like, we have to identify a health issue affecting Aboriginals around Australia. I chose substance abuse.
Yeah, I've chose ear infections within communities.
I chose diabetes in young Aboriginal children.
We're working on our Cert 3 and a part of that is to judge these statistics and write about them.
One of the many events that the SAASTA program hold is the Aboriginal Power Cup, where we have a good representation of different Aboriginal groups in South Australia sharing their culture, and for some it's about reconnecting with culture also through those experiences.
The Power Cup is a AFL carnival. They need to develop their own banner, own Guernsey.
This is the banner for SAASTA. It's like our representation of our school.
It's our team mascot, which is the goanna. It represents the students in the class. Because it's resilient, it overcomes many challenges like the students in our class.
We kind of just put our Guernsey on this, but like made a bit of changes just to represent, so it's like matching and it's not just completely different.
We picked the orange and like the yellow to kind of represent the desert. The blue represents our close connection with the sea because our school is located right next to the ocean. And the pink represents our girls because it's part of the NAIDOC week theme.
Our banner is about the Kaurna people coming from the hills down to the Port Adelaide region and herding emus. I think we just focused on the Port Adelaide region and tried to find a totem that represented that, and we found the emu.
Through the Kaurna Trail as well?
Yeah.
Researching the Kaurna Trail. More earthy and...
Yeah.
Except for the lighthouse.
We did that red.
Yeah. Because it's red.
Best part of the day, probably watching the footy. Yeah, I didn't get to play, but I got injured on Friday night at footy.
Today I just rocked up here, got ready, my Guernseys, and we did this ceremony this morning, and then we went off with our academies to play other academies of football.
Tell us about how Geordie did. Tell us about Geordie.
Yeah, Jordan, he played all right. He hurt himself in the knee. He played good pretty much all day. Probably the last game, he played probably his best game. kicked about 16 goals. They went alright. Lefevre and Ocean View put together, our boy team, yeah.
On the first day they have organisations coming in and providing information, whether it's around employment, education, health.
There was like little stores in there. There was like food ones, about brushing your teeth.
I learnt like the career options during courses.
Power have a partnership with MAC, the Motor Accident Commission. The students come up with a road safety campaign, and so each academy they have to design their own ad.
I always drive in conditions.
I'll never drink and drive.
Together
with safe lives.
Yeah.
Drive for change. Look after your license and look after you. Ready?
Yeah.
You thinking of going to a party?
Yes! Have you thought about who's going to be the designated driver?
No! Well, you need to think smart and think of all the innocent people you're putting in danger.
Think smart!
Yaku karko wa pinto. Yuwa pinto. Madla rinto.
Leave it alone, protect your mob.
Put your phone down. You can live without it, but people can't live without you.
I'm late, I need to let them know.
Yeah, but would rather you arrive late than not at all.
This behaviour needs to stop, and it stops with
Me.
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 me. Me.
Us.
And me.
The Aboriginal Power Cup is getting bigger and bigger every year, and this year particularly we've had a lot of good feedback around the carnival itself.
It goes for 3 days, and the third day it's like we do a cultural dance.
We're all doing a dance before the Richmond and Port Adelaide game.
So students from every academy across South Australia learn this set cultural dance, and they actually perform the cultural dance right before the game starts on Adelaide Oval, so pretty special.
Being leaders of the dance on Adelaide Oval as well was pretty cool.
That was probably the big one.
The highlight of it.
Yeah, we guided everyone.
Yeah.
Like we held the shape of the circle.
We showed up at Adelaide Oval, and then we had to do a quick run through and like a few practices, and then we performed that night. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah. I was like on the outer circles here.
Yeah,
I was like right there. Yeah, I was like right here somewhere.
They didn't really show us because
It's too good looking for the cameras.
TAFE block involves students working towards their Cert 3 in sport and recreation.
The way the study's set out is the students will study a full week at the end of terms 1, 2 and 3, where they'll come in to Regency International House. The regional students will stay. The metro students will come in each day and they'll do their study over the course of the week. And majority of the study of their work is done at TAFE.
We're looking at AFL in particular, so the rules, strategies, tactics, and as the year progresses we go from just knowing about certain sports to actually delivering sports, being a coach, going out, giving feedback, and it really rubs off on the students.
At TAFE we had to do a hybrid game with 2 sports and explain to everyone about it, and my group did soccer and netball, and everyone had to participate in it.
As they start to teach the other students at TAFE and at school, they become more confident in themselves and they actually start to take and run the SAASTA lessons, which is good for me as well.
I reckon it's good that we're getting our cert to put on our resume, but it's always good, well, what I've heard, it's always good to have something like that there on your resume so you can get looked at for jobs and stuff.
It's about providing the students an opportunity to learn in an adult environment on a TAFE campus, and also the certificate comes with a number of SAASTA credits which helps in getting their SAASTA and completing their Year 12.
My name's Rigby Barnes and I'm the Aboriginal Engagement Officer within SAASTA Head Office. Before we start our proceedings, I'd like to get Chloe, Millera, McLennan up to do a welcome to country.
Nina Mani, a Ghana word for hello, how are you? We would like to acknowledge the land that we meet on today is the traditional lands for the Ghana people, and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country.
Yeah, just a bit nervous. I mean, yeah, it's like I was thinking about it the other day, like this is my last year of school, and then after that there's just work.
I don't know whether you're aware, but there is approximately 579 Aboriginal secondary senior students enrolled in SAASTA in 2018 who participate in any one of the 25 SAASTA academies across South Australia.
My life after school, I feel nervous and excited as I don't know what's going to happen, if I'm going to struggle after school, and I feel excited because I'm almost done finishing.
After school, I don't know, probably be an electrician or see how far footy goes.
I go through so many phases. At one stage I wanted to be a snowboard rider.
Snowboard rider.
And I was looking up how to join and do the Olympics or something, but that was just crazy, so I was stop that phase.
Have you ever been snowboarding?
No.
No. So
I seen it on TV and it looked cool.
He always gives us advice, if you want to benefit yourself, you have to do the work and all this here.
Because he's an Aboriginal, he's older than us, an Aboriginal, we class him as an elder to us. We look up to him quite a bit for all the work he's done in his past.
Yeah, he's doing good in life, so yeah, I think he just wants us to do good in life too.
The important thing to remember about the SAASTA program is that sport is just the carrot to engage our students. Once our students are engaged, it's then equipping them with the skill based around their culture, but then also further career pathways and opportunities to help them to become a leader within their community and family.
Some of the positive outcomes I've seen generally is I noticed a change in students coming out of their shell. I feel that they've definitely become more confident and more proud of who they are.
It's fantastic to hear these stories of young people from isolated communities come to Adelaide, do some study and make a real impact when they go back to their community or another Aboriginal community across Australia.
I think the SAASTA program gives its participants a really strong sense of pride. It gives them a strong sense of identity and achievement, and it's become embedded in the folklore of the South Australian Aboriginal community that the SAASTA program is a pathway to success for Aboriginal students in senior secondary.
You know, you see students coming to SAASTA, especially at Ocean View in Year 10, pretty shy, withdrawn, attendance is down, and they walk out at the end of Year 12. When they graduate in Year 12, they've just got so much pride on their face of what they've achieved. And you know, a lot of them, I never thought they could achieve what they have. They walk out with certificates completing their SAASTA, attendance is up, and they've got sort of a direction of where they want to go.